Welcome to what I hope will be another influential, potentially life-changing mindset coaching session. So this session is going to be named Mastering Your Mindset, but we are also going to be going deep into stress, what it is and how to deal with it. And most importantly, how we handle tough situations. It's very easy to be okay when we're okay, but I believe the true marker of progress and success is how we be okay when things are not okay. So when we hit tough situations, when we hit stressful situations, how do we handle these in a positive way? Because very often when we're in peak flow, when we have momentum, when we have motivation, everything's great, which is great. We've worked to get to that space. But the true marker of progress for me is how we handle the tough times, how we still be okay mentally and physically when things are not okay. But before we start this training, I want you guys to go back. I want you to go way back. And if you haven't yet watched the training called Find Your Why and You'll Find Your Way, or the Unbreakable Goal Setting Training, just drop me an email saying Unbreakable Goal Setting or Find Your Why, Find Your Way to lee@freemanfitness.co.uk, and I will send those over. Now, our why is our deep emotional attachment to the goal. And without one, I believe you will always be stuck. I cannot run 101 miles for social media attention, for fun, for respect, for adulation, for significance, for attention, or any of those things. I wish I could. My drivers have to be far, far deeper. And when we have inspiration, we then don't need motivation, because motivation is crap, as David Goggins would say. Motivation will always come and go. It's easy to do things when we're motivated. It's easy to do things when the weather's nice. It's easy to do things when everybody's watching. But what happens when it's just down to us? There is no motivation. We just need to get the work done. That's when we need the deep emotional attachment. And that's why any of my challenges that you see me do, I never do them just for the challenge. I'm doing them for a deep emotional reason. It's the meaning behind the goal. And this builds into our purpose for being, which is called the Japanese Ikigai, which we're going to come on to later, exactly what it is, and how if you find your Ikigai, you will be truly happy. Now this also came from, I need to get these names right because I can't remember. I think it's Onokiwa or somewhere like that, is where the Japanese Ikigai, or our meaning for being, our purpose in life, came from. Also shows that it has the highest level of centurions, people over the age of 100, based on a linear platform of people that are all the same, looking after their health, looking after their nutrition, looking after everything else. The ones that found their Ikigai live longer than anyone else. The ones that found their meaning, the ones that found their purpose in life. And it might not be what you think it is. So if you think hard now, and you've just listened to this and thought, I can't remember what my why is, I'm not sure what my reason is for doing what I'm doing, you've probably just uncovered the reason why you might possibly not be working at the level you should be, why you might possibly feel stuck, because you don't have a deep enough emotional meaning for doing it. It's not about what you are doing. It's about why you are doing it. And that's why that training might be helpful. Find your why and you'll find your way. Email if you want it. Now, on a training from a very intelligent guy called Will Polston, I learned about something called the ripple effect. Now, this is not only about you achieving your full potential, but it's who benefits as a result of it. So it benefits everyone connected to you. If I win, you guys win. If I win, Logan wins. If I'm healthy, prosperous, wealthy, positive, driven, energetic, moving forwards, that has a ripple effect on everyone around me, friends, family, colleagues, clients, teammates, the universe, and everyone in it. So this is why it's so important that we find this meaning and we experience those emotions, we protect our energy, and we work hard on ourselves, because it affects everybody around us. So we know by now that the achievement of most goals comes down to mastering our mindsets and having a strategy. I've talked about this non-stop in the last few weeks with the upcoming 101-mile run. This time round is different because I have a what-if strategy for every single thing that can go wrong. This might seem absurd. Last time I had no strategy for if I got injured. I had no strategy for the adverse weather that we experienced. I had no strategy for anything at all apart from getting out there and trying to smash it. So then when things went tits up, I didn't know what to do. So we're now looking at every single thing that could go wrong, we're prepared for. If X happens, I do Y. If A happens, I do B. We already have the answer. So rather than what now, it's this is what we do. So what I'm seeing is that we all have goals, strategies, plans, outcomes in place. And we're very good when things are going well. But who genuinely has an emotional response or a strategy planned already for when things go tits up? I'm guessing very few of you. And I talked about this very often, how in the latter stages of my rugby career, I'd prepared for injury every time I stepped on the pitch because I didn't want it to be a shock. And I wanted to already have a plan. Well, if I go out and my neck goes again today, this is how I'm going to deal with it. Preparation. So when it comes down to high achievers, ambitious people, people like you wouldn't be listening to this video if you're not ambitious. We generally have three types of people. People that just feel lost, no outcomes, no destination, no goal, just kind of drifting through life. Then we have the procrastinator who knows what they want, but they don't really want to do the things to get it. They avoid discomfort and spend their time procrastinating on things that aren't important. Then we have the grafter who's frustrated, burned out, and exhausted all the time. Now, all of these experience stress, anxiety, worry, overwhelm, overthinking, and all the negative emotions, what we call the red emotions. But we have to understand these emotions are a gift. Because if you're experiencing stress, anxiety, worry, overwhelm, unhappiness, frustration, exhaustion, the universe is giving you a direct signal that change is needed. How else would we know? We wouldn't. So if we're experiencing stress, we need to make change. If we're experiencing exhaustion, we need to make change. Frustration, we need to change. Overwhelm, we need to schedule better. So start to think of these emotions as your friend, because the universe is sending you a nice letter in the post saying, this isn't working for you, this isn't right, you need to change. So we need to figure out how we change. And we do this by thinking differently. Same thoughts, same experiences, same personal reality. Different thoughts, different experiences, different personal reality. And that's what we're all looking for, because you're all here for change. So if we think differently, we can act differently. If we can act differently, we will then produce a different result. Make sense? So we have to also understand that our performance and our potential will also be related to our level of distraction. And boy, since learning about ADHD, have I had a huge reminder of this. My potential and my performance is only ever held back by distraction, and I have to block it out now at all costs. And I've done this by stage one. I need to identify the distraction. What is it? Instagram was one of them. Facebook was another one of them. The biggest one in the world by a country mile was sharky, snaky online business coaches telling me from all angles, following me around social media via the algorithm of how I could get leads quicker. What's the next best lead magnet? How I could make more sales, how I could build a membership site, why I should be doing low ticket, why I should be doing high ticket, how to manage clients better, how to do this, how to make 10K in 6 weeks. If not, they'll give me my money back, how to run Facebook ads, to the level where I wasn't actually really doing a lot of work because I was just distracted. Shiny object syndrome. You've heard it before. So success in every area of life. I hate those fucking memes, by the way. 80% diet, 20% training. Fuck off. Anyone who's ever written that has never trained hard enough. It's at least 50-50, unless you want to be a skinny rake bag of bones on 0 carbs. And I don't think anybody wants that. And training is about fitness, health, cardiovascular health, respiratory health, goals, targets, feeling good, endorphins, longevity of life. Whereas these crazy memes are saying, if you just do 80% diet, then you'll get abs and you'll look amazing. No, you won't. Anyway, rant over. So success in every area of life is 80% mindset, 20% skills and knowledge. This is why I've talked about it so often. You don't have a knowledge problem. Most of you don't have a knowledge problem when it comes down to training and nutrition. You have a mindset problem that you don't stick to it. And this is why Unbreakable 90 was born, because everyone coaches on nutrition. Everyone coaches on training. Everyone gives accountability and weekly check-ins. We are different. We coach firstly on mindset, then training and nutrition, because if we can get a handle on the mind, training and nutrition will be easy. The problem is most people are trying to fix the nutrition and the training without fixing the mind first. And if you've got the best nutrition and training plan in the world, unless you've got a handle on your mind, your thoughts, your actions, your discipline, doesn't matter how good the plan is, you're not going to be able to stick to it. So we get the mind right first. Nail your mindset and everything else will fall into place. Now, this also begins with, as we spoke about in the Unbreakable goal setting training, like I said, if you want that one, email me. Very often you don't have absolute clarity on what you want. And if you don't have clarity on what you want with your body, your mind, your career, your fun, your family, your finance, your focus, even your flexibility, then you're always going to struggle. You'll always feel lost until you float through the river of life and end up washed up somewhere you don't want to be, talking about being lost and stuck in a rut. Well, of course you were, because you got in the river and you didn't know where you wanted to go. So the river just took you wherever and chucked you out. Now, many people have no goals at all, and that's why they're always lost. Others only set short-term goals, rarely any longer than 12 months. Now, this can be dangerous, and this will sound like a very weird thing to say. Sometimes achieving your goal is the most destructive and dangerous thing in the world. Achieving your goal is destructive and dangerous. Now, why? Because again, there's a training on this in the private client portal called The Fallacy of I'll Be Happy When. So again, I'm going to do this thing to get to this place and then I'll be happy. No. Lived there for many years. We either end up stopping and going back, or we just end up depressed and lost again because the goal didn't mean what we thought it meant. A great example of this is Tony Bellew, the boxer, and many other boxers. They got to the very top of their game, and sports people, footballers, tennis players, golfers. And then when they achieved the thing that was always going to make them happy, becoming the Grand Slam world champion or everything in between, heavyweight champion of the world, they were then hit with a massive what next? And they didn't know what to do. Great story about this is Steve Jobs as well, when he was asked, you know, when did he truly feel happy? When did he truly know that he'd made it? And it was, he said himself, nothing to do with Apple, nothing to do with the money, nothing to do with the success, the billions of pounds. It was when he found happiness doing what he was doing on the journey, without there needing to be an outcome. Because this is where I've been living as well. Hit goals, never fulfilled. Buy a house, never fulfilled. Buy a car, never fulfilled. Run a marathon, never fulfilled. So how do we overcome this? We overcome it by making change, the same as everything else. And it's one of my favorite long-term mindset quotes. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Same thoughts, same outcomes, same experiences. Different thoughts, different outcomes, different experiences. So we need to create a bigger goal. And again, this came on a training from Will Polston. He talks about the North Star and the three wise men and the baby. You know the story I'm talking about. So they never actually made it to the North Star, but it was the guiding light to take them in the direction they wanted to go. And this is how goals can work also. This is how monumental goals, think about how powerful a goal is that you can never achieve because you'll never stop working. And this then allows us to detach from the outcome, to focus on the journey, not the prize. The journey, not the destination, sorry. The process, not the prize. Great line from Paul Moore. There is no happy end to an unhappy journey, no matter what you achieve. So when we can get our fulfillment from the process, not the outcome, that is when we reach fulfillment or happiness. Look at what everybody asks me. Every time I do a run, someone asks me, what's next? What's next for Lee Freeman? Boxers, they ask them straight away after the fight. You watch any boxing show on Sky Sports, what's next for insert boxer's name? Now, because I created now my Ikigai, probably still pronouncing it wrong. So my Ikigai is to impact and inspire people on a global level to live healthier, happier lives. That's a process. That's not a destination. That's not, I'll be happy when I get 200 clients. That's not, I'll be happy when I can buy a Lamborghini. That's not, I'll be happy when I can have 3 holidays a year. That's not, I'll be happy when I make 15K a month. That is finding meaning and purpose in just what I'm doing with no outcome. So again, the best thing for a boxer to reply would be, I'm just going to continue enjoying boxing. I love it. But it's not. It's always, what's the next bout? What's the next title? Who's the next match? And where does that end? Now, Ikigai translates to, going off on a huge tangent here, these are always the best trainings, translates to reason for being. And it's a hybrid of what you love doing, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. I'll say that again. This is what you are looking for. What you love doing, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. Find that and make it an endless goal with no destination, like mine, to impact and inspire people on a global level to live healthier and happy lives. That is it. It's not related to marathons, miles, incomes, things. It's just a journey with an internal meaning and an emotional attachment. So what decisions do we need to make in order to create this Ikigai? Well, we need to choose what we're going to focus on. We need to also choose what we make things mean. We speak about this so often in terms of the gift or the setback. We can see each and every situation as a gift and a lesson, or a setback and a failure. That comes down to what we make things mean. You can see a relationship ending as fatal or a relationship ending as a new beginning. And then we need to think about what we're going to do next to move towards it. So what we choose to focus on, what we choose to make it mean, and what we choose to do next in order to make it happen. And these are daily decisions and actions to take. Even if the goal is so big we can't achieve it, we still break it back to days. So back to mastering these emotions, because this all builds in and it will make sense at the end, I promise. So the key question that I was asked is, when stress happens, I do this negative behavior. How do I change that? Well, first of all, we need to understand that the emotion of stress only ever occurs due to an event or a circumstance. Events happen. Life happens. We cannot control events. We cannot control circumstances. And two real great examples of this are COVID and the cost of living, the two most recent ones. And also, those of you who are in the private coaching group will remember when I completely punctured my tire at 9 o'clock on a Sunday night, having still not recorded the training for the clients, and had a PT session at 6 a.m. Out of my control. Another maybe work pressure, kids getting ill, getting spoken to like crap by your boss or your partner or your friends, illness, injury, all events, all out of your control. Now, where the meaning comes from is how we respond to it or how we react. Now, our usual response is we react. And if Sarah Siggs is watching this, she will be laughing. Because I went into a total reactive meltdown about puncturing my tire. And she actually said, mate, you've got a puncture. Chill out. But at the time, it was the worst thing in the world. It was going to cost me money. It wasn't my fault. Why did this always happen to me? Why on a Sunday night? I'm going to miss my PT sessions in the morning. I'm going to let my clients down. I don't even know how I'm going to get anyone out. They're not going to be able to find my house. How am I going to get it to a garage? Angry, reactive, meltdown. By the time I'd calmed down and breathed and finished the training, right, I've got breakdown cover. Let's try calling that. Breakdown cover came out. We can either fix your tire or we can take your car to a garage, leave it there, drive you home, and you can call them in the morning. Said, that's not an option. Can you come and fix my tire? They came out after 2 hours, now 11 o'clock at night. We can't fix your tire. It was like a slip like that. That's what it went from, like whatever pressure to zero in like 3 seconds. So, however, I do know this company. This is a free plug for them as well, called Dustcap Tires in Nottingham. Give them a call. They go to a unit. They're mobile. It will cost you about double the money, but they get the tire, they bring it to the house, you fit it. The guy did that and I was back on the road, still made my client at 6 a.m. in the morning. So I could have, had I left the reaction and had I had a better level of emotional intelligence at that time, I could have just responded how I did an hour later once I'd calmed down. So this is what we are in control of. Now, the reaction comes from the part of the brain that's called the amygdala. So a great book on this as well is The Chimp Paradox, when it talks about the two sides of the brain, the angry chimp, the reactive chimp, and the calm chimp. So the brain is built for survival. This is why it goes into meltdown. This is why it goes into panic. This is why it goes into stretch. Now, the response comes from the thinking part of the brain, which is called the prefrontal cortex, the part that dogs don't have, which is why even when you shout at them because they've just got their muddy paws on your cream carpet again and it's ruined, you call them all the names under the sun, and 3 minutes later they walk back into the lounge that they've just ruined and they just give you a kiss and the cuddle because they can't remember it. They don't have that thinking part. They just love unconditionally. So that is the part where we then respond. Now, there's also a theory of something that's called ERO, which is event, response, outcome. Something happens, we make a rash, angry, reactive decision, and then we wish we hadn't made it. That's hindsight. When we get a handle on this emotional response, something happens, we think, We gather all the details, we get all the information, and then we make a decision. That's called foresight. So we need to work on foresight, not hindsight. And it's how we filter down how we react to these situations. The situation isn't stressful. Your reaction creates the stress. So we can change how we feel by the response. And the reality is you choose how you respond. Again, somebody, your wife, cheating on you, your girlfriend, your husband, your boyfriend, your brother, if you're from Barnsley. Sorry, I'm only joking. I'm going to get shot for that. Apologies, anyone who lives in Barnsley. I can't concentrate now because I'm going to laugh. Someone is caught cheating on you. Now, a response is, well, they've shown their true colors. They don't deserve me. They've just lost the best thing they ever had. I've got out free. Thank God I found out not in a few years. And I'm going to move on and find someone who deserves me and is going to be faithful. Or we can go into anger, resentment, frustration, going and beating up the person that they cheated on you with and getting locked up. We could cause all hell. We could let it go on for months and months and months, just destroy each other, jump on social media, bring more stress and anxiety and energy to the situation. Or we could just walk away. Say, thank God I found another person that wasn't the right one. See how different it is. Again, the outcome is based on your response. So a great example here, and this is also somewhere I lived for a very long time. Do, have, be. So I'm going to do all of this work so I can have all of this money and then I'll be happy. Been there, done that, was never happy once. What next is where we end up. I'm going to do all this training. I'm going to get all these results. I'm going to get this body. I'm going to win this competition and then I'll be happy. Well, what next? Okay, this was my belief for years. And we can flip it from do, have, be to be, do, have. So I'm going to be this person so I can do these things and then I will be able to have what I want. It's the same, but it's different. So kind of we think, so what I wrote down is, so how do we be how we want to be? And that comes from not doing things to get something, just being happy with who we are on the journey, which again is what Steve Jobs talked about. I'm not focused about where I'm going or what I'm going to achieve. I'm just happy, want to be happy with who I am on this road towards this place that I've kind of created over there. So one way that we can be the way we want to be is to again understand this stress that we are talking about. And again, credit to Will Polston for this. So we can live in eustress, which is good stress, or we can live in bad stress, which is, or distress, which is bad stress. So too low pressure, no stress, no urgency will always equal boredom. This is when we procrastinate. This is when we're sat watching people play table tennis with a beer can on YouTube, or we're flicking through social media because there's no pressure on us. There's no urgency. We haven't got anything that we really have to do. So we procrastinate, or we can have high pressure, too many things that I need to do in too short a time, working long hours, and I burn out. So we want to be in the middle. We want the pressure to be optimal, just like a car tire. If it's punctured, it's not going to go anywhere, distress. If it's overinflated, overstimulated, it's probably going to go pop. It needs to be at the right pressure just to be able to keep moving forwards. And this is what I've been working on in my own life. I don't want to be a 2 or a 10. I want to be a steady 7. And a great way to start to experience less stress, less anxiety, and less worry is something we do in the private client group every single day. We celebrate our wins. We focus on what is going well. We focus on what we have achieved. We focus on what we are going. And we also, I've spoken about this so many times, we need to watch our language. Because what we say about ourselves to ourselves is 100 times more important than what anybody else says. Because we talk to ourselves in our own heads more than we will ever talk to another person in our entire lives. And our subconscious mind does not know whether we are telling our truth or not. So if we keep saying, I'm not good enough, I'm tired, I'm burned out, if we then use the word my anxiety, my depression, my stress, my PTSD, my bipolar, my personality disorder, my ADHD, it then becomes part of our identity, which is difficult to shake off. So we can change the language. And again, you know, nervous to excited, afraid to about to grow. Even little things. Let's not forget, there's some people who don't have legs. So rather than, oh, I have to go for a run later, I get to go for a run later. Some people don't. Oh, God, I have to go to the gym later. I've got enough freedom to go to the gym. I'm grateful for my membership. I'm grateful for my car. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to go to the gym. Again, we can change failed to learning. But we can also use these language changes in positivity as well. How you doing? I'm okay. How you doing? I'm fucking incredible. Which one do you say feels better? How you doing? I'm okay. How you doing? Oh my God, I am sensational today. I'm on fire. I'm ready. I'm raring to go. I'm going to kick today's back doors in, as Laura would say. So always remember as well, I've just seen this on my social media today as well. Always remember life is happening for you, not to you. And this person on my social media, it's a typical victim mentality. She's taken 3 words out of one of my reels and had a massive pop at me about people with life-changing health conditions, which is nothing that I'm talking about. So again, this is a person where rather than looking at how she can change, she'd rather talk about what she's got and why it's different for her and not taking any action. There's fucking people competing in the CrossFit Games with one leg. Tyler Saunders, who's in alliance with me, one of the most incredible guys you've ever seen, deadlifting, squatting, box jumps, wall balls. He's got one leg. Did the fan dance, he's got one leg. Because he's got the mindset, because he knows that life happens for him, not to him. Yet there's, you know, people with what I would call quite small health conditions who all they want to talk about is that, why it holds them back, why it's not fair, why life happens to them, not for them. Victim mindset versus warrior mindset. So we have to keep switching this and understand, not, oh no, why has this happened to me? Why has this happened to me? What's the universe telling me? What lessons am I getting? What is it learning me? Okay. And how do I apply this to my new mindset so I can move forward? So our mindset is a set of attitudes and beliefs in our mind. That's all it is. Again, you could see this in COVID. You could either view it as a disaster or a massive opportunity. Either one, whichever you view it as, will become your personal reality. Same thoughts, same experiences, same outcomes. Different thoughts, different experiences, different outcomes. Some of us, and I am proud of myself for this, and I am going to brag about it a little bit. The second COVID happened, we developed an online home training plan that needed no equipment and built a community for people to support each other online through COVID. Income was up 63% within 4 weeks. Again, you could say, well, you shouldn't really be talking about that, Lee. And that's what I felt like at the time. You know, how can I be happy about what I've done when people's businesses are going bankrupt because of COVID? Well, again, that comes down to how quickly we react, how quickly we perceive it. You can see this. Some people just sat back and let COVID happen to them. Some people went, fuck, this is a disaster. What can I do to make it better, quicker? What expenses can I get rid of I don't need? What side hustles can I go into? What can I create? How can I work online? And again, it's the same situation. It comes down to perception and reaction. So back to what we said about what do we do when there's a crisis? What do we do when things go wrong? What do we do when things get tits up? So again, I'll use a personal example here. Going into January 2022, all prepped for the biggest month in business ever. January, February, it's like Fitness Freshers Week. Everyone wants to sign up. Everyone wants to get in shape. Everyone's got New Year's resolutions. And I get a call from the hospital that I'm finally going in for my rhinoplasticity, whatever it was, operation. They drilled through the bone, put a plate in, cleared it all out, cut loads of my nose out of there. So you can see now I've got 2 holes rather than it was pretty much like this from rugby. But the downside was I'm not going to be able to do any sales calls for 6 weeks. I'm not going to be able to do any coachings. I've just taken 63 new clients on. Disaster. Fuming about the operation. Devastated. Went into a meltdown. I'm going to lose my business. I'm going to miss out on Freshers Week. All the other coaches, all the other clients are going to go to other coaches. I'm not going to be able to talk. I can't coach. People have signed up. They're going to be disappointed. And then I thought, no, how can I make this work for me? So I sat there before the operation and I repurposed 27 trainings and posted one every single day, scheduled old ones, repurposed them for whilst I was going to be unable to talk. I pre-recorded videos to go through the sales process and created a system where I could sell by chat in the DMs and sign people up that way rather than having to talk to them because I was laid on the bed. I couldn't even move forward without my nose bleeding. And again, we ended up having a record month. So again, I turned a disaster into an opportunity. But this is why we have to understand life will happen for us or to us. If you think life happens to you and you're in a passenger seat, you are playing the victim. If you think life happens for you, you're in the driver's seat, you're going to play the warrior. But you are in charge. And it's all going back to the same as the stress we're talking about. It's all down to how you respond. In every crisis, obstacle, and challenge, there's always a gift if you're willing to look for it. And you might be saying now, I know what you're saying, Lee, but this is a disaster. Well, at the time it may be, but guess what? If I hadn't tried to top myself, if I hadn't have become depressed, if I hadn't have found out about all my mental health issues, I wouldn't be doing this video now and you wouldn't be listening to me. I wouldn't have changed thousands of lives through mental health coaching, training, and nutrition. I wouldn't have built this community. And that all happened from hitting rock bottom. So we need to understand there is always an opportunity if we are willing to look for it. And going back to the stress thing, it comes down to how we respond, how we react. This is a great thing to finish on. I think this might really help you as well. So think of, you guys know I'm a bit obsessed with the SAS and the SBS, and the Goggins and the Navy SEALs and all that type of stuff. So there is no more stressful situation than SAS selection. They are doing everything in order to break you. Same as the US Navy SEALs, same as the SBS. You've seen the TV programs, you've read the book. It's about how much, even in the interrogation, you've seen with the headphones on, the screaming babies, the pressure points, the fear, being stripped naked, covered in water, frozen, beaten up. It's about creating the most highest level of emotional stress known to man and that person not cracking. This is why less than 1% make it through. But those who make it through have 4 things in common. And let me shit you not, aside from Jan and Jason and a couple of others, not one of you is going through anything that is nearly as stressful as trying to pass that selection. The 4 things are, number 1, and I again will be applying this in my run on Friday. They have close, focused goal setting. So not trying to get through the 101 miles. It's just another lap. I just need to do another lap. I just need to do another lap. I just need to do another lap until I've completed it. And this is how they break it down. They don't see the whole 12-week selection process. I just need to get the fan dance done and then move on. So we're just focusing on one small thing at a time. Number two, what you see me implementing every day this week: mental rehearsal and visualization. Visualizing myself picking Logan up and carrying him over the 101st mile. Visualizing you guys being there. Visualizing the success, the smells, cultivating the feelings, how happy I'm going to feel, how emotional it's going to be, how the 101st mile is going to feel, how I'm going to feel when I go past that and carry on. So number one, close, small, focus goal settings, breaking it down. Number two, mental rehearsal, visualization. Number two, positive self-talk. I'm going through this with Logan at the moment, which you'll find bizarre since he's 4. He keeps saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. Yes, you can. And again, this is how we change that language. We spoke about it earlier. We can change I have to or I get to. I have to get this done or I'm honored to be doing this. So again, it's those positive affirmations and self-talk. Like I said, what you say about yourself to yourself is everything. I am going to achieve this. I am going to win. I am going to do 101 miles. I am going to succeed. And number 4, which is where I went wrong last time, is excitement control. I got overstimulated, overexcited, and over-aroused because of the stimulus around me. I went out too quickly. And it ended the challenge for me, as well as the injury. So we have to understand we need to work on those 4 things. So if you're in positions of high stress, bring the goals down smaller. It will create less anxiety. Mentally rehearse yourself winning, succeeding. Partake in positive self-talk. I am, I will, I can, I get to. And make sure you keep your emotions under control. Celebrate your wins, but don't celebrate them too hard. Work hard, but not so hard the tire pops, or not so little that the tire punctures. Stretch yourself from a 1 or a 10 to a steady 7. 10s will burn out, 1s will go nowhere. This is why the all or nothing fallacy never works. But many times we hear people say, I'm just an all or nothing person. That even means you're doing all the work that's not sustainable and you'll burn out, or you're doing nothing, which means you'll go backwards or stay the same. We don't want to be all or nothing. Either way, we lose. We want to be in the middle. Guys, I hope that's been helpful. I love you all. lee@freemanfitness.co.uk. Any questions at all, I'm always here to help. Hopefully, the next training you see, I will be talking about having completed that run that I'm talking about now.